Welcome to the Snap UK Prediction Show, the accompaniment to the podcast, where me, Johnny Thrash, 4th and Inches, and Griff try and do our best to predict our
You're
score.
supposed to be making an effort, John, because I'm just picking them out of a hat.
I mean, we might as well be, but we try to do our best to predict.
I believe
the
last week one of us lost the predictions battle to Paul's wife.
Me.
Yeah.
My own wife, picking from which sounded stronger.
Well, the thing is, as well, one week we are going up against Paul's daughter, 5-year-old daughter, and basically that will be testing the mean to see could we do better than someone effectively just picking names out of a hat. So far, well, last week, me and Griff both got 12 and 4. Paul got 9 and 7. So, in total,
I'd be in the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, if you're in the NFC East, you'd be the best team in the world right now. But so Paul still leads away 30 and 13. Where I'm just behind 29 to 14. Michael is at 28 and 15. So it's now all within 2, which means it's tight.
That's closer than I am in any of our fantasy leagues this season, when I am bottom or virtually bottom in all of them.
Yeah. Well, I won't show off that I should get the league title in our normal league tomorrow. It's last week. This is the final week in fantasy as well.
I am the only one who can't get into the playoffs.
Are you?
Yes, because even if I win, the 2 people directly above me have already beaten me.
Oh.
So I am the only one in that league who cannot get in the playoffs tomorrow.
Well,
I might go for my usual tactic of seeing how many players I can pick who will only score like half a point.
Alvin Kamara, we'll talk later.
The trade deadline for our league is Sunday, so But anyway, so
something tells me that might not get voted approved. Anyway, he's playing rubbish since then.
Yeah, you don't want him. You don't want him.
He's playing better than Zeke.
Yeah,
which I'm
not
sure
much,
we would.
Not by much though. So, of course, we're doing this a bit later because due to Ravens just being awful at that whole COVID thing. Their game was postponed from Thursday, put back to Wednesday. So all these first games are 6 o'clock on Sunday. So let's start with divisional game, Falcons Saints.
Saints.
I'm going to go with the Falcons.
Go on, that takes some explanation.
I just don't think the Saints are very good with Taysom Hill. Not only is Taysom Hill a big drop-off from Drew Brees, he's costing in the last 2 weeks, they've got nothing out of Alvin Kamara, who is their best player. So I think the Falcons might just do enough. This is a team that struggled to put points on the Broncos, who are playing without a quarterback. So I'm going to go with...
They had a quarterback. He just hadn't played at anything above like high school level in like 3 years.
He had 24-hour notice that he was going to be playing quarterback in an NFL game when, it's not his fault he sucked a dick, but the Saints weren't great. I think until Drew Brees is back, I'm struggling to say that this Saints team is as good as they should be, and I'm going to predict a Falcons sneaky win.
I'm going to go with the Saints winning by at least 7, and I think you're high out of your mind. The Falcons are better than they were under Dan Quinn, but they're still an absolute shite show. So, their kicker leads the NFL in points. Fantastic. Well done. That shows you how poor a franchise they are.
Do you know how many 100-yard rushing games Todd Gurley has had in the last 27 games? One in 27. Taysom Hill, first player ever with consecutive 0 touchdown passes thrown as a quarterback, but 2 touchdowns rushing in each game. I think him on the ground is why they're not getting anything out of Kamara, because they've got him. Latavius Murray's actually playing better. They're seeing a lot more out of him. And they haven't needed Michael Thomas all season, which is just as well, because I don't think he'll get anything out of Taysom Hill. I can't see the Falcons winning. I think the Saints' defence is too good. They've been amazing this year. They're not getting any credit. But they've been really, really good. So I'll say it'll be fairly close. It might only be 3 points in it, but I think the Saints are a comfortable win, really. Probably more comfortable than the scoreline will reflect.
Cool. Next one, Vikings, Jaguars.
We're all picking the same. We're all picking the same.
I don't think we are.
My head is telling me to go with the Vikings, but my gut is telling me to go with the Jaguars because the Mike Glennon Jaguars are a different.
They look competitive.
Yeah, that's it. And the Vikings, you have no idea what team's going to be on the pitch.
Well, I think the Vikings are on a good run of form. They are now, they're above the Bears in the playoff hunt. And
yeah, but the Bears were an unconvincing.
Oh yeah,
great start to the season. The Vikings should be doing a lot better than they are. The Jaguars are the type of team who people will play down to because they're expecting them to, basically they're tanking for Trevor, aren't they?
Mm.
So my head says the Vikings, but my gut says the Jaguars. So I'm going to go with the Jaguars.
Nice.
John?
Vikings. I think it might be tight because this Viking defense isn't great. It has some great players in it, but they aren't playing great. But I'm still with the Vikings. Cook is playing. And even if they don't get a whole game out of him, I think they have enough there. But yeah, it's always tough going for the Vikings because they are so inconsistent. But yeah, I'm going with the Vikings.
You're going all robot voice is what you're going.
Yeah, you're going to this lovely point where you make a robot.
You do.
Oh, sorry, but yeah, I'm going with the Vikings.
I will also go with the Vikings. Similar to Paul, I have the gut instinct that the Jags might win, but I need to try and make up some points here. So I'm gonna take the Vikings. Mike Glennon made them look competitive, but he is 6-17 as a starter in his career, and I'm not sure that playing against Dalvin Cook that's going to change. I just don't think the Jags can stop them, even if they keep up with the point scoring. I don't think they can stop Dalvin Cook, and the drop off to Mattison isn't massive. So when they rest Dalvin Cook in the fourth quarter, it doesn't make that much difference.
Cool.
That's fair.
Titans, Browns.
Go on, I'll go first on this one then. I'm taking the Titans because I always take the Titans. The Browns are 8-3, the Titans are 8-3. If you're asking me which one of the two teams I believe in, it's never going to be the Browns. So I am taking the Titans. Derrick Henry and Nick Chubb pretty much cancel each other out. The Browns have slightly the better defense. I would say the Titans have the better offense. I'm 100% convinced that the Titans have the better quarterback. And I would say the edge in coaching goes to Vrabel just from experience. So I'm taking the Titans.
Paul?
I'm also going with the Titans. I have no idea how the Browns have that record.
Oh,
I mean, literally, no, they're a good
Talent.
team. On paper, their roster is fantastic, but it's the Browns. There's that scene in The Simpsons where they're watching Homer in his little cubicle. Watch out, he's about to do something stupid. I've been doing that with the Browns all season.
It's true.
So, Titans.
I'm going with the Titans as well. Yeah. I can't think of another reason other than what Mike said. I wholeheartedly agree.
That's a first consensus pick. Excellent work. Well done, everyone.
Okay, now a tough one because these teams both suck. Bears, Lions.
I'm going to go with the Bears because they suck less. I mean, the Lions are a dumpster fire of a team.
Yeah.
But the Bears are less of a dumpster fire. They're a dumpster fire that has some gold jewellery in it.
I don't know. I'm edging towards the Bears just because I think they will get to Stafford, and if Stafford doesn't play at 100%, the Lions don't win. So I'm taking the Bears, but I am so reticent to take a team that it doesn't matter whether you play Foles or Trubisky; they're the same player virtually under centre.
We don't call him Big Dick Mitch, do we?
No, we don't. I mean, the size of his penis doesn't really count. I don't. It's not a thing. If anything, that would encumber you when you're trying to scramble around the pitch. So maybe that's good. I think we've got. There's still nothing about Golladay playing. If Golladay was definitely going to be on this pitch to stretch his Bears' defence, I'd go the other way. But I've heard nothing about him playing, so I'm taking the Bears just because I think the defence will rock Matt Stafford.
I'm also taking the Bears. I think they will just suck less than the Lions.
I think Akeem Hicks is coming back for the Bears, which is going to Akeem Hicks and Khalil Mack against the revolving door of the Lions O-line. So that you'd be mad to pick the Lions.
Fair enough. Dolphins, Bengals.
The Bengals, I will. While Joe Burrow is not playing, I will never go for the Bengals.
I kind of wholeheartedly agree there.
Yeah, there's a couple of teams where I would take issue with that. If they were playing maybe the Jets, the Jags, somebody like that, I'd be tempted to say that it's a close game, but I don't think this is even close. I think the Dolphins are sneakily really good and are just not getting the credit they deserve this season. I don't think it matters whether Tua plays, and I gather he is on track to play, or whether Fitzmagic plays. I think they've dismantled this Bengals team that's got nothing without Joe Burrow. He was giving that team belief. Giovanni Bernard looks like a nothing player without a good quarterback because he's not a team-carrying running back. He's a very serviceable running back, but he's not an elevator like Mixon is every other game. He's not even he isn't capable every week, but Bernard is a drop-off. And they've got no defence, no O-line. They haven't got a chance against the Dolphins. This could be one of the blowouts of the week.
I completely agree with you. Giovanni Bernard, when Joe Burrow is there, Giovanni Bernard is a solid number 2.
He went as high as like the number 28 fantasy running back overall, and he only played half the games.
If you've got Ryan Finley there, he is also a solid number 2, but by a very different variant of the meaning of the phrase.
Yeah, Bernard. I think because they scheme Bernard different from Mixon, and for a while it worked. But with I can't remember the name of the bloke at quarterback.
Ryan Finley.
Ryan Finley. It's not going to work.
I thought it was Brandon. Who's it? Was Brandon Allen?
Oh, was it Brandon Allen last week? It might
Brandon Allen.
Oh God, yeah.
That shows you how little impact Brandon Allen had on any of our lives.
Well, it was against us, against mine and Paul's team. But yeah, that's the only reason I know.
Who won that game? Was it the Giants? The terrible Giants?
The terrible Giants without our quarterback. So they went up against Colt McCoy.
Colt McCoy.
And they still sucked.
He now has nearly as many wins this season as Daniel Jones, just saying.
Yeah.
The terrible Giants on a winning streak. Until this week, clearly.
Also true.
But yes, I can't. Dolphins. I can't go with the Bengals whilst Burrow is injured. Even if Burrow come back, I'd still struggle because the whole rest of the team's toilet. Okay, Texans, Colts.
Colts. I'll tell you why I'll go for the Colts. Because I think they're a better team, John.
Yep. I'm going with the Colts. They were humbled last week by the Titans. and I think they come back this week.
I also think they'll be keen to restore some pride, is the best way of putting it. I do think they're the better all-round team. Although this Texans team, you can't not be impressed by some of the turnaround that's happened under Romeo Crennel. Like it's like two different teams, and actually there's been no change. The Texans get David Johnson back this week, and I've been mocked before this season about saying that he changes the game for them, but it really does. Duke Johnson's been good as a pass catcher, but he's not a proper running back. And I think if you look at David Johnson's stats, he's actually on a bad rushing team, but a very good player. That sounds like an odd thing to say, but you have to account for him on every snap that he's on the field is what I'm getting at. So that does make a difference, but if there's one team that can account for a lot of players, it's the Colts. And like I say, pride is going to be their key thing here, and I think they will handily win this one.
DeForest Buckner comes back, and that's the key variant for me.
Yeah, without him, they really struggled.
My favourite little piece of information on this one, T.Y. Hilton hasn't had a 100-yard receiving game since Andrew Luck retired at the end of 2018. 21 games in a row.
It was his first touchdown last week, wasn't it?
Yeah, first touchdown of the season.
Just imagine if he had a future Hall of Famer, a quarterback, how different life would be.
Honestly, I said it on the podcast this week. They should go for Stafford this summer.
It's a good shout. You know,
okay.
I mean, that's going out of the frying pan and into the slightly larger frying pan, but that's an argument for another time.
Jets Raiders. Based on last week, this might not be as easy as.
Not just based on last week, but based on the fact Josh Jacobs is not playing this week because of a bad ankle. This game suddenly a bit closer. Sam Darnold's stats this season: 3 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. The dude is gone. He's done as a Jets player already. We know it's over, but he's still very talented. This is one of the few weeks where they are in with a shout of winning, but the Raiders will win. Because the Jets' only win will be when they beat the Patriots at the end of the season.
I mean, I would love
to stop them getting the number 1.
Yeah.
I mean, I would love it if Darnold does orchestrate a win again this week to stop them with drafting effectively his replacement. But I mean, he'll still get replaced, whether it's 1 or 2, whether it's Lawrence or Fields or whoever. But yeah, I will predict the Raiders because, like the Bengals, I can't predict a Jets win.
You know, the Jets have allowed 30 or more points in all 6 of their non-divisional games this season, which is the longest, widest streak of all time in the NFL for that. That's crazy. They're just getting torn apart on the back end, and they've got a broken quarterback under centre. Whether it's Darnold or Flacco, it doesn't actually matter. Although Flacco has handily outplayed Darnold. I made this point on the podcast.
Yeah,
Joe Flacco doesn't get anywhere near the love he deserves.
No, it's because he's nowhere near as good as he seemed to have been, but he has been all right this season.
The Jets are 0-11. Let's not overcomplicate the conversation here. The Jets are absolutely terrible and have the same air as the 0-16 Browns from a couple of seasons ago.
I think they're worse.
They're the worst. Yeah, they're worse. I mean, Michael, they're the worst team. Much worse. The Browns were very close in some games. You know, they were let down by poor coaching.
Who would you rather have, Hugh Jackson or Adam Gase?
Hugh Jackson.
No one.
Hugh Jackson came in on a wave into a terrible team with a terrible front office. The Jets try. They've drafted decent players. They've tried. They've brought in Le'Veon Bell, who was one of the Adam Gase has not been successful as a head coach anywhere.
Hugh Jackson wasn't the reason the Browns were bad. The Browns were bad. Then they got Hugh Jackson and they just didn't improve. Adam Gase is the reason the Jets are this bad.
Well,
yes.
But Hugh Jackson's, I think I would rather have Jackson than Gase, but then I'd rather have anyone else than Hugh Jackson. So, yeah. I mean,
it's a bit like asking, where would you like to have your cancer?
exactly.
What sort of cancer would you like?
Would you like to be shot or stabbed?
Yeah. Tell me the sword with which you like to be beheaded. You know, it's horrible decisions. So yeah, no, it's yeah.
How deep is how deep in the water would you like to drown?
Yeah.
It's like that age-old question, you know, the would your dad to save your mum? That sort of question. It's like you don't really want to answer that. Even as a hypothetical, you just feel dirty.
No, let's not do that. So 9 o'clock games now, or 9 o'clock in the UK. Anyway, Seahawks Giants. I think this would be tight.
Yeah.
I think if we had Daniel Jones, I think this would be quite tight. As it happens,
I disagree.
we don't.
I disagree. Is Daniel Jones not playing this week? Then I think the Giants just got closer to beating the Seahawks because Colt McCoy was actually quite good, and I don't think there's a drop off. His experience is excellent, even if he's not a winning record quarterback. He is. When we talk about teams that need good backups, that's Colt McCoy. He's a career backup who's happy to be a backup, who never plays badly when he comes in. He just plays on bad teams and then normally plays on teams that haven't got an O-line. So that's why he ends up playing. I don't think there's much drop-off, and I think the Seahawks will win easily enough, but I think the Giants will be competitive.
No. I'm a Giants fan. No. The Seahawks are going to wear us like a hat.
I don't think they're going to. No. I think because the thing is, we have been really good this year against teams that don't have a particularly good O-line, and the Seahawks do not have an O-line. And you know, Russell Wilson is great, but he's on a pretty average streak right now. He's not a dead cert for MVP anymore.
No. 6 of your last 7 games have been decided by 3 points or less. This could be another one, but I don't think you're winning.
I don't see us winning, but I do you know what? I think I'm sort of, because when he came in against the Bengals, Colt McCoy was rubbish, but of course we've had a week to scheme for Colt McCoy because Colt McCoy and Daniel Jones are very different quarterbacks.
Yeah.
I think that will change, but our defense is really good, and I think that will help against the Seahawks. I think we've got six players up for Pro Bowl on defense this year.
Yeah, your defense has been really sturdy. I have no problems with that. Do you know the last time at the Week 12 stage of the season, a division leader had 4 or fewer wins?
It'd be the Seahawks.
No.
Never.
The last time this has happened since the NFL in its current structure.
Is it the 2011? Never. Okay.
No, never. 1970, the leagues merged. You are officially the worst Week 12 division leaders of all time. Well done. Solid.
The thing is, I like the direction we're going in Joe Judge. I feel very different to when we had Pat Sherman. It did just seem to be this kind of cavalcade of shit.
Yeah. No, I'm very happy with Joe Judge.
Would you like me to give you the quarterback comparison between Colt McCoy and Daniel Jones very quickly?
No, you're okay. You're okay.
No, listen. Daniel Jones is 7-16 as a starter. Colt McCoy 7-21. They both average around the 60.5% completion mark. Daniel Jones ever so slightly higher. 6.5 passing yards per attempt is the same. Daniel Jones has 5 more giveaways in fewer games than Colt McCoy, and their average passer rating either side of the 80 mark. So Daniel Jones slightly higher in 1 or 2 categories, but very much higher in the giveaways category. So I don't think the drop-off is really there. Like you say, they've had time to plan for Colt McCoy, but I don't think it makes much difference. I think he's as good a backup as most teams have got, and you'll be nearly as competitive as you would have been anyway. I don't think it's a problem.
Colt McCoy's not as mobile, but actually the Seahawks have been quite good against rushers, but
against running quarterbacks. Yeah, you want to be able to pick their secondary apart, and he can throw the ball. So
And also, I like the matchup of James Bradbury and DK Metcalf. I love James Bradbury. What a great player he's been for us.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I still see the Seahawks absolutely destroying us.
I don't think they destroy us because I just don't think they're very good at the moment. But they win. But it'll be
3 points or less. Yeah.
Cardinals, Rams.
This is the game I really struggle to find the winner for. I'm going to go with the Rams, but I'm not at all confident with that whatsoever. I couldn't say my gut or my head led with either one. It's just I prefer blue uniforms to red uniforms.
I'm going to go with the Cardinals because I prefer red uniforms to blue uniforms. But no, I don't know. I think Ramsey probably, quietens DeAndre Hopkins, but you've still got Kirk and everything else. I think when it comes down to games this tight, I go by. It's really stupid, but I'll probably go by who's got a better quarterback. And Kyler Murray is much better than Jared Goff. So I'm going to go with the Cardinals.
I think that's a really good shout. And then I'm going to tell you that Aaron Donald is going to crush Kyler Murray in this game. And that is why I'm taking the Rams. I like Paul, I wouldn't say I'm confident, but I didn't think it was that difficult a decision. I think the quarterbacks are fairly similar. Even though they don't play the same, I would say their chances of winning are fairly similar. The better defense belongs to the Rams. Ramsey is a shutdown player. He is a top 3 corner in the league. And Aaron Donald is by far the best pass rusher on this field. So I'll take the Rams.
Cool.
Yeah, and if you take Hopkins away, Christian Kirk's good, but he's not great. If you take Robert Woods out of the game, Cooper Kupp can still get 100 yards. If you take Cooper Kupp out of the game, Robert Woods can still get 100 yards. There's no one else in the Cardinals who can do that.
Larry?
Not anymore.
Yeah, Larry 10 years ago.
I don't know. I'm with you, but I think it could be a tight game, this one, myself. Chargers, Patriots.
No one's taking the Patriots in this, right?
I am.
I'm not.
I am. I think the Chargers. The thing with the Chargers, a few weeks ago, you could have said at least the Chargers were only losing by 3, or they were losing by a score. They're losing by ever increasing amounts, and the game. Who did they play last week? I'm just trying to look. Bear me a second.
Yeah.
Bills.
Yeah, the Bills. Yeah.
The footage of Herbert trying to sneak in at the end was just so embarrassing because it was such poorly coached.
Here's the thing.
He went for a sneak. Everyone else went into pass defense, and he looked like an absolute fool. I will go with Bill Belichick over Anthony Lynn.
I wholeheartedly agree with that. I can't pick the Patriots because I've seen how bad we are, and I've seen how good Justin Herbert can be. I don't think I was really hoping, where I'm going with this is I was really hoping we were going to get Cam, the good Cam, at some point this season, and it's been so brief in games. He's the first player ever in the Super Bowl era to be on course for twice as many rushing touchdowns as passing touchdowns. He cannot beat a team through the air. The Chargers are good on the ground. Like, you've got that run-stuffing ability with their defense. So I don't think our offense can keep up. The only way the Patriots win this game is if Anthony Lynn loses this game, which is possible, very possible. But we don't win it, they lose it. I'm taking the Chargers.
I haven't seen enough from the Patriots to inspire me to think they could win this comfortably. Neither team is going to win this by more than 3, but I feel it's the Chargers.
Last week, no Pats runner had more than 50 yards. Only one receiver had more than 50 yards, which was Jacoby Myers with 52. They still won that game against the Cardinals, who are much better than the Chargers. I'm going with the Pats.
That is a very fair point. And like you say, you said the magic words. It's Bill Belichick. The talent just isn't on the field, and this Chargers team have got so much talent. Anthony Lynn may well lose it. I have lost all faith in the Anthony Lynn coaching ability, and I don't want to doubt Belichick, but there is no talent on this Patriots team. Edelman's not even, he's on IR. You can't say that that's happening. Myers and Bird are just not number 1 or number 2 receivers. We've got a bunch of number 3s. The running game is brilliant. Damian Harris is really good. Sonny Michel was in and out, but good. James White has taken over from Rex Burkhead, who was playing good, because both of those can't play good at the same time. So
he scores.
They're the black and white version of the same player. So when one of them's playing well, the other one isn't playing. But our running game is all we've got. Cam Newton is a running back playing quarterback, but I just think the Chargers can shut that down this week.
Fair enough. Well, we shall see. Packers, Eagles. Anybody going for the Eagles here?
Anybody who went, you'd be literally insane to go for the Eagles.
It's going to be the Packers, and it could be by some margin. This Packers defense doesn't get enough credit. This could be a 3 or 4 turnover game for Wentz quite easily.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think this could be by 20 points or something. The Eagles are that bad right now. Yeah, let's move on. Chiefs, Broncos. So this is the late night game.
Is there a quarterback playing for the Broncos?
Yes.
Who?
They're all back, aren't they?
Yeah, I believe they're all back. So Drew Lock, in theory, is starting.
Okay, cool. So they're still the Chiefs.
Yeah. That I wonder where you were going with that. At the end of the day, I don't think it matters. It may be ever so slightly closer because they've got a proper quarterback, but I think Mahomes and the Chiefs walk this one. This is a minimum of a touchdown win, probably 2.
I think a touchdown win for the Chiefs, just because I think that over the last few weeks we've seen the Chiefs build up a lead and then sort of hold back. And
it's a divisional game, though.
Yeah.
For me,
I think they could be up by enough in the first quarter and just hold back, and I think that'll be enough. I think the Chiefs so much better than the Broncos. I think they're just the Broncos can't rush anymore. Seemingly since he got the DUI, Gordon has fallen off a cliff. They don't seem to want to use him. Lindsay, I don't think is good enough to be anything more than a sort of a running back who sort of flick in and out as a sort of a change of pace. And receivers aren't good enough.
I think you're overworking it. Patrick Mahomes has 30 passing touchdowns and 2 interceptions at week 12, which is the best touchdown-interception ratio at that point in NFL history.
He's brilliant.
He's going to win his second MVP comfortably.
You might probably.
We spent so little time talking about Packers Eagles. Why are we spending more time about this? It's clearly cheap, all 3 of us.
Sure. Yeah. This one might be quite quick as well. Steelers football team.
I'm not sure this is a quick one.
No, I don't think it is.
I think you're doing football team a disservice here. Football team with Alex Smith at quarterback has been really quite good.
No Bud Dupree as well for the Steelers, which is only one person down. I mean, they do also get Stephon Tuitt back, but
he's a monster.
But Bud Dupree is a huge loss, and as well a huge loss for Bud Dupree as well. Contract year for him.
Are you telling me that you don't think Washington's defense can get some hits and things on Roethlisberger?
I think they can. I just think I'm actually really impressed with the football team.
Here's the thing, right? Tick the boxes here for me as we go along. Can the Washington defense get hits on Big Ben?
Yeah.
Yes.
Do the Steelers always play down to poorer opposition?
Yes.
Most of the time, yes.
Is Terry McLaurin the best wide receiver on display in this game?
I trust in the secondary of the Steelers enough that he would...
Now, answer the question. Is Terry McLaurin the best player, wide receiver on display in this game?
So,
yes.
the team that's looking most likely to win the Super Bowl, that are 11-0. You're making me think that a team that are 4 and no, hear me out. You're making me think a team that are 4-7 could be a threat. A team that are a steaming turd.
They're not a steaming turd.
No, listen. Let me finish. A team that are 11-0. Everybody is touting them as the Super Bowl winners. The NFL are showing their most marketable player dancing on everybody's sign every single week. A team that have a man with a completely rebuilt leg under centre are a threat.
Yeah. I never said they're going to win. I'm just saying the reason why this isn't a short conversation is because this isn't the Washington team from the first 5 or 6 weeks. This is a better team. The Steelers always play down. And how many teams have gone 16-0?
One.
Right. Yeah.
Two.
Yeah. Actually, I think.
Sorry, the Dolphins team of the 70s. They didn't lose a game, but it wasn't 16, was it?
It was 14-0.
Yeah.
But okay, how many teams have gone undefeated in the regular season? 2, right? Are you telling me this Steelers team's definitely going undefeated?
I'm not saying they're going undefeated, but I'm saying a team that are 4-7 that aren't leading their division, when they're the team that lead in the division are the steaming turd that I support.
I'm just saying there's a reason why this isn't a short conversation.
This isn't a short conversation.
I'm taking the Steelers. I am taking the Steelers. But I'm just saying, watch this game. I think this will be a very good game.
Oh, I agree with you. I think this will be a great game. But I see a Minkah Fitzpatrick pick six. I see Cam Hayward and Stephon Tuitt running over that O-line. And I see, all right, Big Ben will get hit, but you're hitting a 300-pound man who very rarely gets sacked hard.
Is that like the really budget version of the $6 million man? Paul Farrow plays the $6 million man in the 300-pound man.
We can fix him. We have the technology.
Sellotape and chips.
But we've bought it from Maplin's.
We can't get a refund. He looks kind of like a thumb. Is that okay?
No,
I'm going to get on my high horse with this one, and I'm going to struggle to get off my high horse because I agree with you. There's more of a conversation than Packers-Eagles. But if you think the Steelers won't win this game, you're criminally insane.
No, I'm picking the Steelers. I'm just telling you, I really like what football team are doing with Alex Smith under centre, and I will be astounded if he's not playing under centre for them next season as well. When they've got their next new quarterback waiting to come in, I think he'll probably start the season for them.
Oh, he'll do the Mahomes job again.
Yeah.
As well, if the Steelers get past the next 2 weeks, which is Washington and then the Bills, they are going undefeated because the rest of the season sucks.
Just saying, I've backed them all. I picked them to the Super Bowl. This is my team. Just saying, not many teams go undefeated. And like you just said, this is probably their hardest remaining game. So,
if the hardest remaining game that team has is a team that are 4-7 from a dumpster fire a division, I think we're overanalyzing.
Okay. Well, I'm going with the Steelers. 49ers Bills.
Bills.
I've got nothing for you on this one. I love what the Niners are trying to do with limited players. I know they're getting players back all the time. I think the Bills are actually due a big win. It's unlikely to be this one, but I think they just keep rolling.
I'm going to go with the Bills.
Yeah, they're my outside shot for the Super Bowl. Kyle Shanahan deserves a lot of credit for the amount of bandages he's had to put over his playbook with the injuries they've had. But the Bills are a better team. I was talking to John before we recorded on this, and outside of running back, tell me one position where the Bills don't have quality.
What, on the offense or all round?
Or the entire team.
I'm not sure that the D line and the linebacking core are brilliant at the Bills. This is not the Bills of the past. So the offense is susceptible, and if the running game for the Niners gets going, they'll rack up points. But I think offensively, yes, they're very good. Their running game is so inconsistent, but Josh Allen makes them a running threat regardless. I think it could be an interesting game, but I just think the Niners probably shouldn't have enough to win it.
Fair enough. Okay. Wednesday night, another Wednesday night game. Well, Wednesday morning even, really, so Tuesday. But Ravens Cowboys.
That is the hardest game to place for me.
This is the hardest game to place for me. It's the one with the big question mark on it on my board. Obviously, I've circled the Ravens, but I think the Cowboys, if they're going to win a game again, this is one of the ones where they can pull it off. I'm going back to what I said earlier in the season. I don't think Andy Dalton is a problem. Like, I get it. It's not the same as having Dak, but he got injured in one game and, didn't play in the next couple. And then actually, he's done all right. Like, they're okay. The wide receivers are relevant with Andy Dalton on the field. And this Ravens team is slipping badly. But I just think that the ever-changing O-line for the Cowboys is probably a stretch to beat what the Ravens can call up. So I'm taking the Ravens, but I don't like it.
I've got my hands ready on my board at home to replace the Browns over the Ravens in that division.
Yeah.
But I'm still going with the Ravens because they've been beaten a division by the Giants.
Yeah.
The Giants are leading that division, and we are a 4-12 team.
No, you're not.
4-7, 4-8.
What have we been for the last two seasons before that?
Yeah.
How many games have we won? The Cowboys, a little bit like the Cardinals for me. With a couple of extra additions and people coming back from injury, my God, they should walk that division next season. But the Ravens, on paper, are a better team. I'm going with the Ravens. On record, the Ravens are better. And there's so many people missing defensively and from the O-line for the Cowboys. I just can't go. I can't nail myself to the mast of them.
My last memory of the Cowboys was the game against Washington, where they sucked so badly. I can't, especially against the running game, which is what the Ravens have.
Yeah, so the Cowboys are conceding 157 yards a week on the ground, and the Ravens are averaging 156 yards a week on the ground. So it could be an absolute feast for that running game, including Lamar Jackson.
Yeah.
And when you add that combined with the fact that the Dallas O-line is, I think, the second worst in the league, and the Ravens can rush the passer, I can't back the Cowboys, even though I think the Ravens are not the team we thought they should be. It's just a bad matchup for the Cowboys.
Yeah, I'm with you. I agree. So I'm going with the Ravens, but
you want really rip them apart.
Oh, well, the thing is, you wouldn't be surprised as well because
they've been bad recently. They played some bad football.
Who's the most disappointing team in the season for you guys? Because I was going with the Vikings up until a couple of weeks ago, and actually, I think the Ravens have flattered to deceive so badly.
I think there's a few contenders. I don't think you can overlook the Patriots. No one expected them to be this bad.
I kind of did, just because of the COVID the COVID pullouts were so much and so quality.
I didn't expect them to be this bad. The Eagles have been a huge disappointment. And that hasn't changed. At least the Ravens have been good at some point. So I think there's a few teams, but I think your point is valid. They are in the conversation and they shouldn't be.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm going with Ravens.
I believe it's Ravens all round.
Ravens all round.
100%.
It's probably not a week for much diversion in the scoreline between us because it might just depend on the Vikings, Jags, and Falcons, Saints to pick a winner. But of course, on the bye is Tampa Bay and Carolina. They're the last of the bye weeks. So the only thing that might get in the way now is, of course, COVID. We'll leave it there. We'll come back next week. We're back. We have a Thursday night game next week, so hopefully back Wednesday, Thursday, to see who's done well this week and who's in the lead as we sort of quickly rattle towards the end of the season. But I'll leave it there, and hopefully enjoy your weekend of football action. Bye from us.